As an enterprise, once it exceeds 800,000 and you remove your cost, you pay tax on what
One of
you
the
get.
things we do on this show is to give back. So you're going to give us 2 slots for an SME, maybe one SME, one business, and maybe one individual. So 3 in all. So I hope you agree to that before we move to number 5.
Oh, yeah, sure. That is not a problem.
Perfect.
The one tax Nigerians believe most is that they are not eligible to paying or filing or do anything taxation until after 18 months of registering the company, which is just not true.
If you had to describe the new tax law as a movie title, what would it be?
Jump off the burning train.
Off or jump on?
The train is shy burning.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of the Giveback Series with Amara. The Giveback Series with Amara is an impact series where I sit with leaders across different areas of life for them to share their experiences, and this will help you in your work in life, in your business, and in your personal life. The goal for this impact series is very simple: to lead and share conversations that will inspire you, guide you, and then encourage you no matter your state in life. So join me as we give back. With me today, we have Mr. Olayinka Obanimi Oyekanmi. He's a BSDP-certified consultant with over 17 years experience advising businesses, advising SMEs. He's an entrepreneur. He's a teacher. He's also a lecturer. So join me as we welcome Mr. Olayinka to today's episode.
Thank you very much, Amara. I'm glad to be here.
Let's jump right into it because it's very important. I've had people ask me a lot of questions about the taxation law that people are anticipating that will come into full-fledged implementation in 2026, January of 2026. So first, please, we want to have an overview. What is the general description of this law? Explain it to me like you're explaining it to a 5-year-old.
Okay, my dear 5-year-old, it may be a bit difficult to explain to you, but I'll try my very best. So let me start with the objective of the tax law. The objective of the tax law is to bring everybody into the tax net. And in so doing, they've made a lot of concessions. And one of the advantages this tax law has had for the average person is that the guys who wrote it, they've been on the side of the entrepreneur for years. The head of the Presidential Task Force Committee was working in private sector. The current chairman of FIRS was in private sector. So those guys, they understand what the entrepreneur, the SME, they understand your pain. They understand the issues of double taxation and all those various things. So those are some of the things this tax law has come to try to solve. So you see now we have taxes that are bringing a lot of people, even though it's bringing everybody into the tax net, is also taking everybody, a lot of those people, away from having to pay taxes because they earn so little. Also, SMEs who earn so little are suddenly not going to be eligible to pay taxes anymore. They will register, they will be within the tax net, but that payment of taxes, that remittances, that charging of withholding tax, charging of VAT, until they reach a certain earning threshold, they are not obliged to do those things anymore. The laws bring the people in, yes, but it also eases the burden of the people concerning payment of taxes. So just putting it simply, that's how I would say.
So more like the more you earn, the more you pay. The less you earn, the less you pay. Is that like a summary of it?
Yes, that is it. That's just exactly how it is. There are 3 taxes we always look at in Nigeria that affects all enterprises. There's 3 that affect all enterprises, whether you're paying or not, but it affects you. That is personal income tax for you and your staff on salaries. There is a value added tax, which is paid by those organizations that have added value to their products. And then we now have the company income tax. So in different forms, those are the 3 types of taxes that we pay. That's all Nigerians pay. So the personal income tax is the one that seems to affect everybody because that one is on individuals. And that one, the threshold has been stretched so that so many more people fall within the bracket of not having to pay those taxes as from their personal income. So that has been stretched, it has been increased. Before, it was about 360,000 naira a year, but now it has been stretched to 800,000. So if you earn 800,000 or below, you are not going to make
Okay.
any personal income tax payment. And there's still a clause there that allows you
Okay.
to collect back from government a certain portion of your rent. So when you put that into context, you find out that some people may have to, who earn up to #1 million may not pay any tax. You understand?
Okay.
So I put that in context to help that. While for the SMEs, so up
Mm-hmm.
to 100 million naira, having revenue of up to 100 million naira in many cases, or some cases,
Yeah.
are not going to pay taxes. You know? So when you put that in context, you find out that it eases the burdens of people. Right
Burden of
currently,
the people.
yes. So
Okay.
it's just, yes, it's quite interesting.
Okay, so picking up from your response now, people are worried. You know, the funds you can get back according to the new tax law. People are worried that where can they go to get these taxes back when you've paid tax and there are rebates. I think there are rebates that the government is giving. So where would they go to have access to that? Do you understand?
Okay, most times when we talk about this rebate, like this
Mm-hmm.
give back on the rent that I mentioned,
Okay, yes,
that
exactly.
give that give back, you are not going to collect it as cash. It's going
Okay.
to be,
Oh,
yes, it's going to be deducted as part of your, it will be taken away as part of what you are supposed to pay. So I'll give you a good example. So let's say
okay.
someone earns 800,000 naira. He's not
Mm-hmm.
supposed to pay any taxes. Now let's stretch
Okay.
and say he earns 1 million naira. He's supposed to pay
Mm-hmm.
tax on 200,000 naira.
Okay.
You understand? Now let's
Yes.
say that person now pays the rent of 1 million naira somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And government says that they are going to pay back up to 20% of his rent to
Okay.
him, which is exactly that 200,000 naira. So you find out that instead of him to pay tax on 200,000, he's not going to pay any taxes at all. He'll just submit documents to show that I pay a rent of 1 million naira somewhere. So that tax has been given back to him from source. There has to be very proper documentation, like your agreement with your landlord. You have to take it to the stamp office, the stamp duty office, and get it stamped. Probably
Okay.
register it in court and make it a valid document. And this question is forcing me to reveal secrets on the streets that are, the secrets are there on the street, but they are still secrets. This is the idea. Now, if you are a business name enterprise, as an example, I told you every company pays three types of taxes: personal income tax, um, value added tax, and company income tax, and a few other ones depending on the type of company you are. Now, for business names, you pay your personal income tax, and all individuals in Nigeria, you pay your personal income taxes to the state in which you are resident. Then you pay your value added tax to the FIRS office. You probably pay online, but it goes to the FIRS where it's sent to the federation account. And then you pay your company income tax to either the federal government or the state government, depending on who you are, the type of your enterprise. If you are a business name, you pay it to the state government. If you are a limited liability, you pay it to the federal government. This is where the catch is. The federal government says that if uh, eh, you are a limited liability and therefore under my jurisdiction, if you earn up to 100 million naira, as the case may be, I will not charge you any tax. But the state government is not saying that, right? So, because the state government is not saying that, what are the people doing? They are moving away from the place where there's a chance they will have to pay more taxes. The state government is stuck on its 800 naira threshold. So, if, for example, because you see that third tax,
That's
company
eight
income
hundred
tax,
thousand. Sorry to interject. That's 800,000.
yes, 800,000, because business names are, by law, they are attached to your personality. So, you and your business name enterprise, for example, we have Amara Enterprise. Amara Enterprise
Okay.
and Amara, they are the same. However,
Mhm.
Amara Limited and Amara, they are different entities. So Amara
Entities.
Limited pays company income tax at the end of the year to the federal government. while Amara Enterprise pays
Okay.
personal income tax on behalf of Amara to the state government. And the threshold, the limit of exemption on the enterprise is the same as the limit of exemption on the individual, which is 800,000. So let's say Amara Enterprise earns 25 million. That 25 million will be subject to audit, the profit and loss and all that. And then based on the profit, Amara will now pay to the state government, even though
Okay.
she earned only 25 million. However, Amara Limited earned 96 million and doesn't pay any tax to anybody because the federal
Okay.
government says, I give you uh, that threshold up to 100 million. There
Okay.
are certain rules that guide that. So you can
And
see
that,
why
sorry
everybody
to
is moving to
interject.
limited now. Yeah, no problem.
So that and for if it's a limited, for any amount that is lower than 100 million, they are not to pay. Is that what you're trying to say? But if it's an enterprise, because you're almost the same with your business, if it's lower than 100 million, you will still pay. Does
If
this
it
really
once
explain it?
as an enterprise, once it exceeds 800,000 and you remove
Okay.
your cost, you pay
Mhm.
tax on what is left.
Okay. Wow.
Even if it's 2 million naira that you earned, once you've removed that 800,000 naira, whatever is left, we calculate we look at it, and then on the profit, you pay to the state government. While for, for limited, you can stretch up to 100 million and you don't have to make it.
I don't know if there are 5 things you want to tell, let's say, a small business, an SME, because while we're looking at the whole picture, we're also looking mostly at the SMEs. What are the 5 things you want them to do now ahead of the
Things I
full
would tell them,
implementation?
this is impromptu,
Mhm.
but I like it. Number one is that keep your records. If you were not keeping records before and you were using just your bank statement or bank account as your guiding principle to show to government agencies when they come on what's been happening in your company, now is the time to keep accurate records. That is number one.
Records.
This is very important. It will save your life. There are parts of the law we
Okay.
can't discuss because they are technical, but there's something there that makes you vulnerable where you don't keep records. That's number one. Number two, monitor your growth so that once you
Okay.
exceed that threshold, you don't want to be
I'm
sleeping,
aware.
whereby you have exceeded the
Yes.
threshold and you are still exempting yourself.
Mhm.
That will not be good. Number three, go and register at the tax office. If your business is
Okay.
not registered, this is the time for you to register if you have not. Number four, get a tax consultant. I mean, that makes me happy.
Yes, and
But
yes, that's
number
number 4. We'll go back to it because you're going to give us, one of the things we do on this show is to give back. So you're going to give us 2 slots for
okay,
an SME, maybe one SME, one business, and maybe one individual. So 3 in all. So I hope you agree to that before we move to number
oh
5.
yeah, sure. That is not a problem.
Perfect.
Number four, get a
Okay.
tax
Okay.
consultant. You
All
need
right.
somebody to advise you on
Mhm.
simple decisions that you are taking. Because some of the decisions you are taking even in your business, they can have far-reaching implications, and you don't want to make mistakes on that. And then number five, if you're an SME, tell your staff about the fact that they need to pay their personal income taxes. Train
Tax.
your staff, train yourself, train everybody, get informed. Let your organization be informed on taxes and the tax requirements on the business. It will guide how they do things, how they go out, how they interact, and all that. So those 5 things, I hope they will help.
I've learned as in is an eye-opening session even for myself. I've already written down so many things I need to work on for myself, and of course, advice I'll give to clients, to friends, and to other businesses on where to start. Let's make it more lively with our fun questions. First, we'll start with something very fun. Here's the one tax myth Nigerians believe the most.
The one tax which Nigerians believe most is that they are not eligible to paying or filing or do anything taxation until after 18 months of registering the company, which It's just not true. And they hold on to that with all righteousness and confidence
Mm.
and vigor.
But all
You
that will
can't,
change in January.
when
All
you're
that is
supposed
about to change.
yes, it's about to
Mm.
change. And you're supposed to start filing
Mm.
your VAT from the first month once you are VATable.
Oh, wow. Okay. So the next one, if you had to describe the new tax law as a movie title, what would it be?
Jump off the burning train. That's what
Is it jump off or jump on?
the train is shy burning. There's a burning train somewhere.
Thank you very much for having, being on this session, joining us to discuss the new tax law and how it affects businesses. Thank you again for the 3 slots you have given us. To one to a business owner, one to an SME, and one to an individual. Just an advisory session for all of them on how to proceed. And we'll let our viewers know how to redeem that.